Hello. So first of all, I apologise for the attire and the messy hair. I just got back from the stables, but I really did want to get this video put up as soon as possible because this is an update on my Tommy Robinson story in the last video. And I'm posting this because I got some things wrong. Not wrong enough to take the video down, but certainly missing a huge chunk of important information. And I'm very grateful to one of my subscribers for bringing this to my attention. You see, I assumed that seeing as the charges were being brought here in the UK and that they referred to an incident occurring between the 4th and 7th of August last year, that the so-called threats to life were happening on those days, which in those circumstances would be impossible. But no, that's not what happened. The harassment with threat to life, which is what he's being charged with, was later, although it referred back to that August incident. And while researching this matter, I found nothing in any of the news media about that backstory, nothing at all. Anyway, I'm going to tell you about it now. I'm Granniopteryx. Please click that like button, please subscribe, and most of all, please share. The MSM won't give you the narrative. The only way I got the story was because Rebel Media put it out. I'll post the URL of that clip under this video, by the way. So the only way other people are going to know about this, because they're not getting it from the papers, is videos made by people like me or Ezra Levant. And so that's something you can help with if you share this video somehow. All right, so that's like, subscribe. Remember, check your subscription if you're on YouTube. They sometimes drop them. And share it. Share it. You can also buy me a coffee, whatever, if you want. But as they say, it's good to share. So you see, there's a Daily Mail article here about Tommy Robinson, and he'd gone on holiday. I think he just got out of prison, hadn't he? What's wrong with going on holiday? According to this, he's on the run. He wasn't on the run. The police knew where he was going. And it's by Andrew Young in Ayia Napa. And the whole object of this was to try and make people jealous. You know, here I'm going to work at 7 o'clock in the morning and that guy's sunning himself in Ayia Napa. Well, what's wrong with going on holiday? We all like to go on holiday. I'm not going to go any further down because there are photographs of, it says, Tommy Robinson with friends, and I don't want to put out their pictures. Okay, and apparently there were some photos of his children as well, although I didn't see them in this article. So what appears to have happened was that a Daily Mail reporter tracked Robinson down after he posted a gym video on X. Yeah, this is a guy who's on the run, posts a video of himself. I mean, that's total nonsense, isn't it? Anyway, he posted a video of himself in a gym without realising that that makes you very vulnerable to being tracked down. He was staying in a very fancy hotel, and any journalist of any experience whatsoever would have realised that you could find matching pictures of that gym on hotel adverts. Okay, it would take a bit of time, but if you have the staff, the researchers, to do the trawling, then it's not so difficult. So after the Mail team chased Robinson and his family down to Cyprus, they turned up, they took these photographs of him. Robinson left Cyprus for Athens between the August the 7th and August the 8th. And then he posted a video on X specifically addressed to the 3 Daily Mail journalists who had exposed his location. He said he knew who they were and he had their addresses. Then he went on to say, your wives and children were photographed yesterday. Well, maybe they were. I mean, he still has friends in Britain, and they could have done, or it could have been an empty threat. It doesn't really matter. He said that, so he has to take responsibility for that. And so far as I know, he then, and as I said, I'm finding it very difficult to find accurate information, but so far as I know, he threatened to publish the photos if those reporters didn't leave him alone. This appears to be what the journalists regarded as harassment with threat to life. Note the wording, harassment with threat to life, which neatly skirts round the fact that he had actually not threatened their lives. He had simply threatened to post photos of them possibly and their families. And yes, that's not a nice thing to do, because it does put those families into the position of being possible targets for some nutter who might want to take it in mind to extract some sort of revenge. Quite right. So then, why did those journalists think it was okay to do it to the Yaxley Lennon family? Well, it's because they come from a media culture that has completely lost the concept of honourable reporting. By all means, they have every right to harass a public figure, which is, like it or not, what Robinson is. But they have no right at all to photograph his children and his wife, or put him in a place where his family were and were unprotected and unaware of any danger that might be coming for them, and expose them to the sort of dangers that these journalists are so afraid of for their own families. Yeah, they can dish it out to him, but when it comes back to them, suddenly they're running to the police saying harassment with threat to life. There were 3 journalists, by the way, involved in this, but only 2 brought charges. Well, you never know, perhaps one of them was not actually a snowflake. Or perhaps one of them might have thought, well, these are the breaks. I did it to him, he's doing it to me, whatever. Before I made my last video, I looked up the case in The Guardian, the BBC and the Telegraph. I also did some general looking around and found almost the same news in almost the same language consistently throughout my search. And that was the way I reported it to you. Hang on, I'm going to find the Telegraph page. Yeah, you see here, far right, Tommy Robinson charged with harassing 2 journalists, the far right activist, 2 counts of harassment causing fear of violence, and will appear at Westminster Magistrates Court. It's alleged the offences took place between August 5th and 7th last year. Nothing more about it. And then when riots broke out, but he wasn't even involved in the riots. And the government, yes, of course, remember, the government were talking about far-right thugs starting the riots. And they were trying to imply that Tommy Robinson had started them, when, as we already know, I said in the previous video, Robinson had left for France on July the 28th. And on the way out, the police confiscated his phone. So he was off the internet for a couple of days and didn't know about what had happened on July the 29th. So he didn't incite the riots that started straight after that terrible event. But the government was trying to give the impression that he did. And the newspaper here, the offences took place between August 5th and 7th last year, when riots broke out at anti-immigration protests in towns and cities across Britain following, we all know, the Southport incident. You see how they tried to link Tommy Robinson to that, and the newspapers have done nothing to disabuse you of it. I even asked Grok about it. So I'm going to show you what Grok said. This is what Grok says. The identities of the two journalists allegedly harassed by Tommy Robinson between August the 5th and the 7th, 2024, are not explicitly named in the available sources. According to reports from The Guardian, The Independent and The Telegraph, Robinson was charged with 2 counts of harassment causing fear of violence against 2 men described as journalists during that period. So that was all I got from Grok. So you see, there's a sort of a conspiracy of silence here. There was nothing about the incident in Cyprus to jog my memory. I did know about that actually at the time. I think I may have made a video about it as well. But I'm not a newspaper. I don't have a staff of researchers, and it slipped my mind. And if it slipped my mind, and I'm pretty clued up on most of the news, it will have slipped almost everybody else's mind. And any journalist worth the name would have reminded people of that, or any journal worth the name. What I want to know is, why did the media not print anything other than that Tommy Robinson is a far-right jailed activist who's being charged with some sort of assault? I mean, if you don't know anything about Tommy Robinson, what sort of an impression does that give you? It doesn't tell you the whole story, and it would have required just a few words saying it was related to journalists taking clandestine photos of him and his children. It might have added some perspective to this story. No, not to this story, to this story. It might have added some perspective, but then almost everything our government does and our media does, and I'm not talking only about Starmer's set of Russian dolls that sit next to him on the green benches. The Conservatives were just as bad. Almost everything they do seems to lack any sort of perspective. But then, of course, you can't see perspective if you have no depth of vision. Can you? Okay, till next time. You can help my channel by subscribing and clicking the notification bell. That's quite important. And by sharing if you're so inclined. Links to my other channels and to donation methods are in the description. But the best way you can help is simply by clicking like and notify. Thank you.